Nearly 100 years ago, the Balfour Declaration completely changed the course of history for Palestine, when one nation promised another nation the land of a third nation. This is when the Al-Nakba began. Way before the Holocaust, there was an idea of a Zionist state. The promise of its reality was made. The home that was my birthright was no more mine to call. Now I'm known as a refugee in my own state. The UN divided the land of the prophets into two, one for the Arabs and one for the Jews. Zionists sang and celebrated their independence on the rubbles of over 5,000 Palestinian homes. But that was just the first mistake, for they took more than what was theirs to take. Deir Yassin, Dawayima, and Balad-al-Sheikh, scattered with the bodies of women, beheaded children, and civilian men. The Jewish settlers have been taking homes by terror and force for years. Yet the international media calls them soldiers defending their land. Defending their land from men who fight guns with stones in their hands? Motherland, homeland are just words that they do not understand.
A Palestinian who had lost her land or lost his land as the result of the creation of Israel in 1948 cannot come back even for a visit. I can go back to Israel as if I were returning and claim immediate citizenship, having no historic tie, speaking no Hebrew, knowing no one in the country, having no family who ever was there.
In 1967, the Al-Nakba began. Until 1993, they kept taking the land that was supposed to be Palestine.
Secure border. We do not mean that Israel has the right to retain the territories they conquered from the Arab world, like the Gaza Strip, the Golan Heights, and the West Bank. We don't agree with that. Those territories should be returned to the Arab people.
Then came the architect, Ariel Sharon, who built oppression in the form of a wall, which leaves most of the remaining Palestinian territory annexed to Israel. 400,000 illegal settlements have already been established in the West Bank. Palestinians are now living in ghetto-like areas, deprived of basic rights like freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and the right to self-determination. Yesterday's victim has now become the oppressor. Yet they say that there is no side to blame. On one hand, we have Palestinians living in refugee camps with a supply of contaminated water and limited electricity. And on the other hand, Israelis living a privileged life as the superior race. The IDF killing everyone in the name of defense, the disabled, the women, the children. They have wiped out complete family bloodlines from existence. They have detained journalists, bombed media houses for covering the atrocities being carried out in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Yet we say that this is a war. Until 1920, the Arab population in Palestine was 97% and the Jewish 3%. Today there are 73.9% Jewish and only 21% Arabs left in Palestine. These are stats of a premeditated genocide. This is what racism looks like. This is what Zionism looks like. Today, the Palestinian nation is helpless and outgunned. It's a David and Goliath fight. But we all know that in the end, the stone thrower will always win.